Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا نبينا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Assalamu alaikum, my LinkedIn family, my TikTok family, my Instagram family. Good to see you all. I landed back from Umrah yesterday, alhamdulillah, and we are straight to the office, straight back into the game, alhamdulillah. Had a phenomenal retreat. There was a business retreat happening in Dubai that I was involved in organizing. We had mostly seven-figure entrepreneurs from the UK. We had Mufti Menk joining us. We had some high caliber speakers, CEOs of big corporations joining us as well, alhamdulillah, delivering sessions. We had the amazing Brother Faisal Chaudhry joining us. We had the amazing founder of Quranly, Brother Isa Khan, joining us. It was amazing, inshallah. There'll be a lot of content coming out about that very, very soon. But right now, the floor is yours. What would you like? Is there anything you'd like to talk to me about or discuss with me, inshallah? And firstly, let me ask everybody a question. Have you got any plans for this summer? Summertime is here. July, August tend to be relatively quiet times in terms of work. They tend to be busy times in terms of holiday. Have you got any plans this summer? Yes, this is from Uniqlo, mashallah. I believe so. I think it is. Alhamdulillah. Well recognized, mashallah. What's the best way to raise finance for rent to rent? I need a loan, but I want to get my first unit by October, mashallah. Brother Omar, I was in the same situation when I decided, after all of my research, all of my due diligence, and all of my shura, that I want to start a rent-to-rent to HMO business to generate some recurring, stable, long-term income for me and my family. I actually didn't have any capital. I didn't have any money. I didn't have enough money to go on a course. I didn't have enough money to actually even, you need to have some money for the deals. Like you might have to pay a little bit of upfront rent. You try your best to avoid paying deposits. You might have to put in some new furniture and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, how did I solve that problem? And guys, you probably have heard this before. That business and entrepreneurs, most of their work is solving problems. Most of the work is solving problems. So this is a problem. How can I raise some money for me to be able to start this business that I want to start? Okay. So I'm telling you exactly how I did it myself. I didn't borrow any money from anyone. I didn't have to wait 7-8 months for me to save up that money. When I decided I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So what I did is like, okay, who has 10,000 pounds sitting around and they're not doing anything with it, and that they wouldn't mind being a silent partner in my business? That's it. You use leverage, meaning you don't need to have the money. You leverage someone who has the money, and you got to give them something in exchange. So this is called a joint venture. You joint venture with someone who can bring something to the table and add value to what you're trying to do. At that time, all I needed was the capital. I didn't need any help with the time. I didn't need any help with the management. I didn't need anything. I just needed the money. So I called up a few friends and I said, hey, listen, I'm looking to do this. If it's I'm offering 10, 20, 30% of the business in return for some capital. The more capital you give me, the more share I can offer you. But imagine at this stage, all I have is an idea and a logo and some projections. It's quite risky for someone to make that decision to go ahead and hand me over some money. The reason why the first friend that I called, he straight away said yes, is because of an important concept, which is you yourself must be an investable person. You must be an investable person. What do I mean by that? Is, are you trustworthy? Are you hardworking? Do you have a track record of doing things? It doesn't have to be business. Have you done charity projects and you delivered? Have you done community projects and you delivered? Have you done something for your family and you delivered? Have you organized trips and you delivered? Are you someone who I know that if I give you money, you're going to try your absolute best. You're not going to make excuses. You're not going to be lazy. You're not going to be deceiving. You're not going to be dishonest. If you have that trait, you can bring unlimited money into your life. You can find unlimited money if you're an investable person. If you're a lazy person who's never done anything other than the basics their entire life, then you're going to struggle. So, Brother Omar, the best way to raise some capital very quick is to find a partner who's willing to joint venture with you, who's willing to be the silent partner and to give you the capital that you need. And you don't need 10, 20,000 pounds straight away. Say, look, let's start with 2K, let's start with 5K, let's start with 4K. That's all I need right now. In fact, I don't even need it right now. I only need it if I get a deal. So have that money ready. When I find a deal, I'm going to come to you. So you're protecting the investor. He's not just sending you money and then hoping that something happens. You're going to call on that money when you need it. So I hope that helps, my brother. And I hope there's a very important lesson there for everybody, that you must be an investable person, a trustworthy, hardworking person with a track record of getting things done. If you say that, okay, I'm going to raise 3,000 pounds for my masjid within the next month, are you the type of person who gets it done, or are you the type of person who drags it on for 6 months? Mashallah, brother Nizam is saying that capital is always an obstacle. Yes, capital is, I wouldn't say it's an obstacle, it's a tick box. You need the capitals. And if you're an investable person and you understand the concepts of leverage, meaning you don't need to have it yourself, you just use someone else's. It's called other people's money, OPM, other people's money. If you don't have it. Now, if I had the money myself, I would never, ever, ever give equity to another person. I'm building the business with my hard work, my sweat, my blood, and my tears. Why would I give someone else a share of it for doing nothing? So Mr. Abid is saying that he's very depressed while choosing degree course, and the family and father is not giving him advice, and said to me, I will never advise you in your life because of some past incidents. Okay, first and foremost, bro, choosing a degree shouldn't make you depressed. Not having food on the table, losing your mother, or losing a sibling or something serious, that maybe should make you depressed. But choosing a degree is not that big a deal, my brother. Relax. Take it easy. Don't blow things out of proportion. Number one. Number two, pray istikhara, do your research, and make a decision. Your family does not need to advise you. Do your research. What degree is a degree that you will enjoy, that has good job prospects, that you are likely to perform well in. And then pray istikhara, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you to the right choice, and then move forward. You don't need to be depressed. You don't need to lose any sleep. You don't need to cry, and you don't need to be anxious, and you don't need to be stressed. It's not a big deal, my brother. And I say that with respect. I'm not downplaying this decision, but in the grand scheme of life, this is not something that should make you depressed. Someone is asking, can I be a teacher? I don't know if teachers have time to pray. Is it a halal job? Speak to a teacher. Find a teacher and ask them. Find a Muslim teacher and ask them, what's it like as a Muslim? I think in the UK, Muslim teachers usually have their own room, so they get to pray when they need to in between classes. They have lunch breaks. They have flexible schedules. The job is, of course, halal if you're teaching them science, if you're teaching them, well, it depends what exactly you're required to teach them. So think about that very carefully. Obviously, maths is good. Maths is good. English, a lot of these subjects, there is nothing controversial. Science can be controversial if you are being asked to teach children that we have come from monkeys. Then obviously that's a problem. But do your research, inshallah. Let me come to TikTok now, inshallah. Quite a few questions here. I have heard of Ashari, Maturidi, and Salafi when I was learning about Aqidah. Which one is correct? Speak to your local Imam, inshallah. Do you have a brother by any chance who was a teacher? Yes, my brother Tasif was a teacher in Bethnal Green Academy. Do you still keep in touch with your friends from LSE? I try my best, but I'm not always good at keeping in touch because I have an extremely busy life. But I do try at least once a year to do something with the brothers. And yeah, I wouldn't say, mashallah. Ghost was taught by my brother. My brother is currently in Qatar. He's working for the oil company in Qatar, alhamdulillah. Is it wrong to want to invest money in something, but not do the work? Absolutely not. Let me tell you something. There are four types of people in the world. The most common type is employees. They work, and then get paid. If they stop working, the money stops. They are told where to work and when to work. Unfortunately, that's the majority of the world falls in that category, employees. Then you have something called self-employed, where you work for yourself. Maybe you're a taxi driver, maybe you are a plumber, maybe you are a builder. You choose when to work and who you work with, but you still have to work to get paid. Then you have something called entrepreneur, a business owner, where the business is doing the work and that's generating them income. If they go away for a week, the business still runs, they still make money because there's processes, there's the systems, processes, and people working for them. I was away for 10 days, alhamdulillah. Everything was running smoothly, alhamdulillah. While I was doing Umrah, while I was teaching abroad, while I was attending the mastermind, the businesses continued and the revenue carried on. The final type of person, this is where ideally we all want to be, is the investor. The investor doesn't need to work. The investor doesn't need to have any businesses, doesn't have to have any employees or any headache. Their money makes them money. That's it. They make money just by making investments. That is where you want to be, because that gives you the ultimate freedom and no stress either. Because yes, I was abroad and my businesses were running, but any time a call could come with a problem. This happened, that happened, what shall we do? So ultimately, you want to be an investor where you've got 10 million pounds and you just invested it in property, you invested it in stocks, you invested it in some small businesses, and your money is making you money. You don't have to do anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that's what we should be trying to achieve. And I'm going to give you the example of how to do that. I'm going to give you the example. Let's say you are a builder and you work for a company. You're in stage one. You're a builder, you work for a company, you have to come at 8 a.m. and then you have to work until 5 p.m. and then you get to go home and you get to have the weekends off and you get paid a standard £2,000 a month. The level up from there is when this builder suddenly decides, I want to start doing my own projects. I want to take on my own clients. I don't want to work for this person or this company anymore. I want to do my own thing. He now becomes self-employed. So he's working on his own, doing small projects here and there, and he gets to choose which days he works. He gets to choose what time to wake up, all of that good stuff. The third level, so one step up from there, would be for him to think, okay, I now want to turn this into a business. I'm going to hire a small team and they're going to do all of the work. I'm just going to go out there and get business and get more clients and get more projects. I'm going to get the project from the client and my team is going to do the work. He now has a business. For this person to then become an investor, either they have to make a lot of money through their business and invest that money over the years and get to a point where he has a lot of investments and he doesn't need to work anymore, or he builds his business to a stage where he can sell it, where he can sell his construction company for 10, 15, 20 million pounds. And when he sells it, he's now an investor. He's now got a massive pot of money and he just has to invest it carefully, and that money is going to make him more money every single day, every single month, every single year. That is the journey that you should try to go through. Now, most of us are stuck in employment and are dreaming of business, becoming a business owner. But what we should be aiming for is something higher, that we want to be investors. We want to have a net worth of 10, 20, 50, 60, 80 million pounds and not have to work and be able to dedicate our life to whatever we want. Sorry for the very long answer, but there was an important lesson there for everybody. Alhamdulillah. Right. Did you meet CEO Cast? Yes, I did. I was with CEO Cast. I even did Umrah with him, alhamdulillah. Brother Rahim, super, super, super nice brother. May Allah bless him. May Allah bless him. Someone is saying, is actually called the Islamic Scholar UK, universal credit and housing benefit is the best. Spend more time with family. I think this person should be ashamed of themselves. No offense. And I hope you're not a scholar, actually. Did any of the Sahaba, did any of the prophets rely on someone else for their livelihood? Were they beggars? Subhanallah. Where is your honor and your izzah as a man? let's not go into that now because it's gonna be a mad one. That's my only question to you. What is your honor and your izzah as a man? You're basically relying on a few pennies from the government to support your family. Shame on you. And I'm not saying you should get a mortgage. I'm just saying, don't be a beggar. Are you doing a podcast with Raheem? I'm not sure. I don't think I'm a big enough guest for his podcast. Not just yet, inshallah. Okay, guys. Right, let's have a look at Instagram. Fantastic, mashallah. How did you make your first million? Are we talking revenue or are we talking profit? Because I haven't made my first £1,000,000 of profit just yet. We made millions of pounds in revenue in different businesses, actually, not just one. But I haven't made my first £1,000,000 profit cash in the bank yet. Okay, I'm looking for some good questions. Let me come to YouTube. I'm having a quick scroll on Instagram now. Do you have any businesses which I can invest in? Right now, we're not looking for any investment. Alhamdulillah, we're doing all right. I do have some investment opportunities I'm looking at in Dubai right now. So keep an eye out on my social media because after I do a little bit more research, I might invest myself and also share the opportunity with everyone, inshallah. How did you learn English? When I came to the UK, I was 12 and a half years old and I didn't speak any English whatsoever. And I just learned by being in school and being forced to learn it. Within 6 months, I think I had a decent level of English and actually ended up getting a star at GCSE's English and English literature because it's actually not that hard. But the way I learn English is by immersing yourself, fully immersing yourself, reading lots of books. For someone who's good at maths, I would recommend a maths degree, but even better, computer science. Okay, I've gone through. Let me have a quick look at YouTube now, inshallah. Did you have a business WhatsApp account? No, I don't. Someone is saying, would love to hear your story, brother, your business model and how you manage your portfolio. I did quite a few podcast episodes in detail. So you can possibly look at the one I did with Islamic Finance Guru. That was a very good episode where I went through my story. I went through how the business model works. And at the time of the podcast, we were doing about 1.5 million a year in rental income. We're now close to 9 million. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Right. I want to get into sales, but my English speaking is stopping me a lot. Brother Jubril, if you want to get into sales and you know that there's a specific obstacle, and that obstacle is that your English is not good enough, I would focus every minute of your next 3 months getting better at English. 10 hours a day. That's all you should be thinking about is how do I get better at English? There's online courses, there's books, you can even learn, you should read as much as you can, practice, listen to podcasts, watch movies, anything to help you. Imagine if your brain is listening and reading English 10 hours a day, do you think you're going to get better at English or you're going to get worse at English? You need to put in the work, my friend. Someone's asking, how was your trip in Dubai? The trip in Dubai was, alhamdulillah, absolutely phenomenal. We were in a beautiful villa with other Muslim entrepreneurs from the UK. And we spent 3 days just learning from each other, collaborating, and learning from even more successful people that we had invited to come and deliver some sessions from, mashallah. Okay, how are we doing for time? Mashallah. Brother Imran is asking me if I've thought about creating a paid community. Yes, I have, and I've actually already launched it, and it's running. We're working on it right now. We're in beta stage, so we are just basically collecting feedback to see how to make it better right now, mashallah. Do you have classes designed for Muslim women who have limited time but some capital? I don't have any classes as such, but for someone with limited time and capital, the best thing for you to do is probably find ways of using that capital and generating some income. I'll give you an example. Don't put that money in some sort of investment and you're going to get, like, I don't know, 5% in a year. I remember there was one stage when in my struggling days that all I was doing is I was going to Amazon, and they have these deals every day where you get 60% off, 50% off. And I had about £500 capital, and I would just buy anything good that was on a hefty discount. I would buy it, spend the full £500, buy maybe 4 or 5 units. And then as soon as it arrives, I would list it back on eBay and sell it for full price. And it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. It's just a few clicks and then drop things off to the post office. But I was able to grow my 500 into 700, and the 700 grew into 1,000, 1,000 grew into 1,300, and then you can slowly make a decent income from it. So that's just one example of something that you can easily do that doesn't take too much time. You click, you pay, the stuff comes to your door. You don't have to go to any shops. You don't have to go to any warehouses. You don't have to fly to China to find products. None of that madness. The founder of Mukarram, mashallah, is watching from India. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Absolute pleasure, my brother. Thank you for tuning in. Brother Noman from Rajshahi is asking that he's a first year BBA undergraduate. What are soft skills I can learn and monetize in 2024? Very, very good question. Mashallah. I like the way you think. The way I would advise you to think about it is differently. Is don't think about what soft skills can I monetize. You should be thinking about what skills are in demand right now. What are the skills that people need in today's market that they're willing to pay for? That's a better question to ask. Because I could say to you, yeah, learn some graphic design and maybe somebody will pay you. But you should go into the market, do your research online. There's so much information. Speak to some people and find out what are the skills that people are willing to pay for. From my experience in Dubai, speaking to several fellow entrepreneurs, there's certain types of skills that they need. First and foremost, they need people who are good at selling and closing, salespeople. Learn how to do sales, high ticket closing, or any type of sales, appointment setting. These are skills that if you become very good, not only will it be very easy for you to find clients, but you can also get paid very, very well. Another skill that we are constantly looking for is video editing, but particularly short form video editing. If you become really, really good at it, I guarantee you'll never run out of clients. In fact, you'll probably have more work than you can handle. Look around you, look at what the entrepreneurs are doing. What do they need help with? Ask entrepreneurs that, what is something that you need help with right now that I should learn. People are learning web design and all of these old skills that nobody needs anymore. There's AI tools that can design you a beautiful website in seconds. Customer service is another one. Like I have hundreds of emails every single day. I need someone who's able to go through those emails, understand what's going on, and be able to respond in a good way, in a polite way, with correct English. So I found someone who's doing that for me now, mashallah. Brother Al-Majid, Murgi Al-Majid, Airbnb, yes, is a bit restrictive in London, which is why we're not doing it. We're not interested in it. It's a little bit restrictive in London, and it's the problem I have with it. It's quite seasonal. It's not recurring income, and it's not dependable income. It's up and down depending on the season, depending on the weather, depending on what's going on in the economy. Not a model that I would get myself into if I was looking for long-term dependable income. Barakallah fikum, barakallah fikum. Okay. How do you deal with results not coming as fast as you expect, especially in the case when we are all in on the business? This is an amazing question from Brother Zed on YouTube. Okay, amazing question. Very, very, very important. How do you stay patient when you're working hard and the results are just not coming and you have gone all in? Brother, that's the story of my life. 3.5 years I was trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. And the thing is that we shouldn't actually have any expectations. This is part of the problem, is that I start a business and I'm thinking, okay, in 6 months, I'm going to make this much. Or in 2 years, I'm going to make this many millions. We shouldn't have that type of expectation, because the outcome, the result, and the fruits are not in our hands. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that. This is our understanding as Muslims, is la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Nothing can happen except through the willpower of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without his will, not even a leaf can fall from a tree. So the way we do business as Muslims is different. So listen to this carefully, Brother Zed. The way we do business as Muslims is we try our utmost best and we rely on Allah. That whenever you want that breakthrough to come, whenever you decide for the break-even point to be reached, I'm cool with that. I'm just going to try my best. I know you're going to provide. I know you're a Razzaq. I know you will make sure that I can pay my bills. I'm just going to continue doing what I need to do. And that's actually what makes Muslim entrepreneurs difficult to compete with. Because we don't have the problem that you are describing, that the results ain't coming. It's not happening. What's wrong? Because if you have that mentality that, you know what, I'm working, the results are not happening, what's going on, it's taking too long. And I have the mindset that it doesn't matter how long it takes, I'm going to keep going. You will never be able to compete with me. This is why Muslims have an advantage in business. This is a Muslim business secret. Knowing that the results are not in my hand, being willing to defer and delay that gratification, delayed gratification. Now, I don't expect any results. I'm willing to wait 3 years before I see any results. That's the type of mindset you should have. And just to give you an example, we talk about our property business, and mashallah, we're generating millions a year in halal rent. But for 3 years, guys, well, firstly, it took me 7 months to find one landlord who was willing to work with me. 7 months. How many of you would have kept going? You would have given up after 3 months. 90% of people would have given up after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Very few would have kept on pushing for 7 months. Imagine you're trying every single day, there's no results. Then for 3 years after that, we kept growing the business, and I didn't take a single penny out of it. Keep growing, keep reinvesting, keep growing, keep reinvesting, keep growing, keep reinvesting. I didn't take a penny for 3 years. I was I was I was getting an income from other things just so that I can grow this business. And because of all of that investment, alhamdulillah, we had a strong foundation. And from that strong foundation, we're now able to do 7 figures. I think by the end of the year, we'll be on 1 million a month. So that is delayed gratification. If you want to start a business today and you want to make money in 6 months, that business is not going to have longevity. The longer it takes to build it, the longer it takes for it to crumble. So make sure you have delayed gratification in your mind, not I need some results now, I need some results now, I need some results now. Because otherwise, you'll never be able to compete with the real entrepreneur. Right, what do we have? Would you suggest how to run a perfume business in this competitive era? I wouldn't run a perfume business in this competitive era unless I had something different. Either my perfumes were the best, or they were unique, or my perfumes I'm able to offer at much cheaper than everyone else. Or, I mean, it's just so competitive. To enter a competitive market, you must find a way to be better than everyone else. For example, let's say there are 5 burger shops on one road. If I want to go open a burger shop there, I can beat everyone for as long as my burgers are better than everybody else. But if my burgers are not better than everybody else, opening a shop in that area is crazy. You're setting yourself up for failure. So don't start a perfume business just because it sounds good. You need to have an advantage, a competitive edge. We have a very good question from Saeed on Instagram. How do you land your first deal with a landlord if you have no previous track record? That is the most difficult part of that business, is starting. It's incredibly hard to convince a landlord to give you their property when you're somebody with no experience, no track record, no knowledge. It's very, very, very hard, which is why it took me so long. And in the end, the person believed in me. He didn't worry too much about the lack of experience. He could see that I was hardworking, dedicated, have a strong corporate background and all of those things. But this is the biggest challenge with starting a property business, a management business, or a rent-to-rent business, which is why for a good few years, I had a mentoring program where I allowed my mentees to say that they're working with me. So they were able to leverage my track record, and that helped them get deals very, 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 very quickly. Now that I don't do the mentoring anymore, I have business partners in different cities. It's easy for them because they are approaching the landlords and the agents and the investors as a company who has been operating for 5 years, successfully operating for 5 years. Alhamdulillah. Okay, where are we now? It's 12 o'clock. Anyone advise? Mashallah, Brother Rashad Ahmed on YouTube is mentioning about the importance of consistency. And yes, I do try to practice what I preach. Starting a blog in 2024, is it a good idea? I'm not sure, brother. Do you read any blogs? How many blogs do you actually read? Okay, Alhamdulillah, we got some amazing questions today. Let me quickly have a final look here on Instagram. If somebody has capital, but they don't know how to invest it, the first thing you need to do is learn. You need to educate yourself. You can't expect to make good investments without first learning. You got to learn before you earn. So just having capital means nothing. That capital is useless without some knowledge of how to actually invest and how to grow it. Okay. Someone's asking, do you rent, mortgage, or buy fully? In our property business, it's a management business. So we don't need to buy, we don't need to mortgage, we don't need to do anything. We leverage other people's properties to make an income, just like Hilton does, just like the Marriott. They don't buy hotels, they lease them for 25 years. Someone's asking, have you bought the house you're living in with upfront cash? No, I rent, and I have no problem renting until I have enough cash to buy a house. I have no problem renting at all. Okay, Alhamdulillah. I think I've covered obviously not all the questions. I've covered some of the questions that are most relevant to this live Q&A, which is giving people business advice and trying to offer a little bit of guidance and mentorship to save you time, to save you mistakes, and to save you from wasting energy looking at the wrong things. We'll stop there, inshallah. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday morning. Thank you so much for participating. May Allah bless you. Have an amazing week. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله